with allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It might be clipped on the front of my camera and back in my car.
All right, on roll call, Mr. Ayer.
I'm here.
I will excuse Mr. Bartlett Brown Knight here in a minute. Dr. Lewis,
I'm here.
Mr. Van Stone. Here. Mr. York.
Here.
All right, a motion and a second to excuse both Mr. Bartlett and Ms. Brown Knight, please.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Mr. Ayer.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right. All right, any question regarding the minutes from the October 20, I guess we've got two of them on here tonight, don't we? Yes. And this is not, it says October, that can't be right. It says October 28th.
It's the 14th.
Let's see. The minutes from the October 14th meeting. Any questions regarding those minutes? No? Not hearing any. Motion and a second to
So moved.
adopt. Mr. Ayer?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
I'm sorry. What was the question? I was distracted. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine, it's fine. It's, do you have any questions regarding, we were taking the vote on the minutes
Yes,
from
I
October
don't have it.
14th.
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, so then you're voting aye?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
Mr. York? All right, then there's the minutes from the special meeting, and that was on October the 24th. That's very short. I got any questions regarding those minutes. If not, motion is second to accept.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ayer?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, good. All right, in communications, we have our report from Police Chief Hines. Nice report this time, Chief. Do you have any comments you wish to make?
No, sir.
No, sir. Is there any questions regarding the report?
None.
None. The village is in good order and safe and sound? Yes, sir.
Bound and determined to keep it that way.
Okay. All right. Well, it looks like, Mr. Ayer, you want to say something about the boulders, the landscaping for the Mariemont connector? We have a spending request on for that. Were you going to make comments on that, or we just?
Yeah, I can go very briefly.
Okay.
The Garden Club, as we reported from our safety committee meeting, graciously agreed to develop a landscape plan, and I'll call it maybe even a preliminary landscape plan for the new section of the path. And they basically took what they think are the stars from Murray Path and developed plans for some pretty simple beds to be installed at strategic places, keeping in mind that they would not interfere with traffic, visibility, the tree advisory board's long-term plan for street trees along either side, and also to maintain the large open play areas that exist in the median. And with all that in mind, they developed the plans, the mayor reviewed them with me, and we received a donation via the Nippert and another Taft Semple grant of $5,000. It went to several communities for beautification of their paths, and the Garden Club chose to use that $5,000 to place boulders similarly to what we have on Murray Path, although there's 12 of them over there. There's 5 that just fit into real nice spots to go with landscape beds. So that is the primary cost of the landscaping project, and there'll also be some soil amendments and some plants that will be a total cost of on the order of less than $2,000 that the mayor and I have talked to as far as the village funding this fall. So I've got to get with our fiscal officer and figure out how to make that work under the mayor's spending authorization.
We have received the $5,000 check.
It's in the works, so I don't know if Joni got it today, but it was, but if it's not here, it's on the way. It's in
The
process.
check is in the mail.
Correct.
So, but that's from Tri-State Trails, correct?
Correct.
And they got the grant from
Correct.
Nippert and
Yep.
Taft Semple.
Yes. And we don't really, and we have no strings with the grant. It's a gift.
Yeah.
They encourage us to match it with something.
Well, we need to report back, because they have to report
Well,
back.
they want pictures
Yep,
and,
yep.
and a receipt. That's all we need.
We're anxious to get these boulders and get them in place so that we can mark the beds and hopefully do some planting yet this fall, correct?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Fred Flintstone out, putting the boulders in place.
Well,
So, and then, was Eric Marsland's son that was going to help with, as far as an Eagle project? Or was it another?
That has not materialized,
Okay.
so.
I know, because I had spoken to him about another one, and it's kind of hanging out there. so
Right.
We'll figure that out.
all right, any questions
I'll
regarding
talk to
this?
him later this week.
No questions? All right, a motion and a second then to approve the spending.
So moved, second.
Mr. Ayer?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone? Mr. York?
Do you
Aye.
have a picture of where they're gonna be placed?
I can email you that. There's detailed drawings and
Yeah.
each bed design and everything.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, sure, I'll email it to
I
you
don't like
when I get
voting
home.
blind.
Okay. Well, it's just 5 boulders, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. What, $1,000 a piece? That's
We are
that's-
so
that's-
Well, they're big, well,
Yeah, I know they're big
if you measure it by the pound, it's very reasonable.
Wow.
Yeah, well, and that's delivered
By the pound, it's
Delivered and
almost free.
installed.
and installed, yeah. All right, enough of the boulders.
It's the shipping.
It's the shipping. All right. Permission to address council. Looks like we have a very nice crowd here tonight. Some of you folks would like to get up and speak, please. Well, ma'am, well, everybody gets a turn. We don't have to fight.
Nope, there's only one allowed.
Just, ma'am, just please state your name and your address, please.
Sure. My name is Stacy Shelton, and I'm at 6948 Murray Avenue. I am, sorry, going to pull up my phone here because I did put some notes in. I'd like to talk to you tonight about the traffic on Murray, and I know you're all aware that the township just painted parking lines down there. This has been my family home for 42 years. I, as an adult, moved back to take care of my mom. So it's just in the past couple years that I've seen all the changes in the neighborhood. There's a lot more pedestrian traffic, a lot more bike traffic, which is great, and I love it. It used to be that the apartments, we live in one of the homes in between Berwick and Grove. And it used to be that the apartments across the street was pretty much senior housing. And they all parked in the garage, didn't get out a lot. So we had plenty of street parking in the lots across the street, and that's not the case anymore. There are 25 spaces on that block, and at 5:15 tonight, there were 4 available to park in. So it's a lot. Looking after the township did what they did, I got on the auditor's website and looked at a couple things and saw where property boundaries are. Now, I do know that at one point there was talk about making the bike path down that part of Murray. I thought we were moving, so I hadn't paid attention to that. I don't really know what the status of that is now. But Mariemont owns a lot of that land there. I would like for us to look into, and I know this is a big stretch because of utility poles, into widening the street a little and adding some more parking spaces. We do have room by the city property lines to add probably 7 to 10 more spaces along that block. The biggest problem is right now that cars can't pass. Cars are bigger. They can't pass. We have lots of box trucks now with Amazon and FedEx and everything being delivered, things we didn't have 30, 40 years ago. So there's a lot of traffic hampering there. Pedestrians tend to walk in the street instead of the sidewalk. And our driveways, the aprons are not angled, they're straight. So coming out, you're turning off of a curb sometimes. there needs to be some repairs done on the street, including curb repairs where they're broken and kind of falling down. So I was hoping maybe as a village, we could take a look at all of the repairs that need to come on the street and possibly have a plan that's going to include either widening the street, adding some parking, doing something a little more than just repaving what we already have. So,
The village has general intentions to connect the Murray Path with the new Columbia, what are we calling it? The Township
Not
Connector,
connector.
which will, of course, go down, all along Murray there.
okay.
And it will run through, the village does have a right-of-way down through there, and there is a utility right-of-way, where the big poles are, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
And I would
can't
suspect.
miss those.
Yeah, you don't miss the polls, I know. I would suspect that during the planning, and we're not there yet. Like I said, we know that it's something that's out there that we wish to do, but we haven't even started to look at it yet,
Okay.
kind of a thing. But during the planning phase of that, of course, parking issues, the ones that you're addressing, and just so that I'm clear, are you talking about basically, the apartment buildings that would be directly across the street from you?
Yes.
Where the tandem places are?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's all public parking, but they're like mini parking lots. You can fit 5 cars to a space. And a long time ago, they were just gravel. They're paved now.
Right.
We would love, even if we could just get the lines painted again, even if we're doing nothing else right now. But there's, like right in front of our house, on the opposite side of the street in front of the apartments, there's a stretch of about 20 feet long and about 2.5 feet wide, where the city came in and did put like a blacktop patch because people were driving off of the road and into the yards there. So it's obviously something I know you guys have looked at and you've seen and you've repaired, in the
Right.
past. I just want us to kind of look to the future and see if there's anything we can do to just make it more comfortable for the residents there, as well as, we can't even have a guest over, they're parking a block or 2 away, which is fine. And we all need to get our steps in. I'm not complaining about that, but, we have toddlers. It's hard to get them in and out of the
Sure,
house when you're walking a block.
Sure. Those tandem places, that is in the village right away, like you said,
Yes.
there's village property there. And chances are the bike path itself will be, on the other side of that, between those spaces and the apartment building itself, kind of a thing. But I could have someone look at this. At the bare minimum, we might be able to restripe it or repaint it.
Right. That would be great because especially, so in one of the buildings across from me, they've started to do short-term rentals for like traveling nurses and things like that. So sometimes we get new people in for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks at a time. People who aren't in the neighborhood, so they don't know that you can put 5 cars there. And so sometimes what could be 5 cars is only 3 because you can't see the lines anymore.
Right.
To be able to park there.
Okay, let me stop you right there 1 second. So you're saying there's like an Airbnb set up in one of those 4-family apartment buildings over there?
There's only one permanent resident over there now, as far as I know.
Really?
Uh-huh.
On what street?
I don't want to cause problems
on
for my
Murray.
neighbors, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I won't address that now, but.
Yeah, I don't want to cause him any problems. I like the owners of the building. They used
Sure.
to be permanent residents there. They moved out about 1.5 years ago. And it was just in the past year, they started doing the Airbnb thing. 95% of the time, it's fine. Not a big deal. But yeah, just looking down the future, because we even have room next to where like the 5 spots are right across from us to add 2 more spots.
Okay.
There's right away there. I think you could probably get another 7 to 12 spots
Okay.
along that street. Not that I'm a fan of taking away green space.
Sure.
Did the village do those? Did the village install those parking spaces?
Those are
Those
village
are our
places.
public spaces?
Yes. So that's what I'm suggesting at the very minimum. I and our illustrious zoning officer will go over there and take a look.
Okay.
And I said, bare minimum, we could probably, restripe or repaint just to keep, to try and keep order over there.
Right.
With what is there. If there's some easy fix, maybe I know what you're talking about, to add a couple of, more places, without eating out too much of green space. We'll take a look at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stacy,
That's great.
on the preliminary plans for when the path goes down Murray, it would be on the apartment side of the utility poles and those parking pads that are there that are public, but they sort of serve the apartments, or at least the apartments think that they do. Those, in the preliminary plans, those are much deeper than they need to be, so
Yes.
they come in some to accommodate the path, but then at the same time, I don't see any reason why we can't look at adding additional parking spaces. And so, I mean, when we get into the planning phase of that, we'll look at that
Yeah, so-
and add some extra parking spaces.
And that was kind of my concern when I first heard the bike path was possibly coming down that way. And like I said, that was a couple years ago, and we were
Right.
thinking about moving. Now we're just going to renovate to make it
Sure.
more for us. But that was one of my concerns then. If that does happen and we push those parking spaces closer to the street, I do believe we are definitely going to need to work on those driveway aprons, because it is literally just straight back, and
Right.
it's hard to turn and
Yep.
get in there.
Yep, we're definitely looking at that as well.
So while you're doing that, can we do something about the six-way? Can we do a roundabout? Can we do at Madisonville, Plainville, Murray? It's awful.
Well, again, that intersection will be looked at, once we start talking about the bike path.
Okay.
Because clearly the bike path is gonna, come to Plainville Road right there. There has to be a way to get people across, so on and so forth. We know it's a problematic intersection, and there have been a lot of discussions, as to what to do. But, at the moment, we don't have anything formally
2027.
decided,
you
yeah.
think?
It's not gonna be immediately,
Yeah,
yeah.
2028.
Well, I've been living there for 42 years with it.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, so it's a
I'm-
couple more years.
Yeah, right. It's just, I see the traffic increasing so much. And because there is more foot traffic, I do think it's a more dangerous intersection than it used to be.
Sure.
So,
All right, ma'am, it's
Well,
on the
thank you for
radar.
your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
thanks.
Please.
Good evening, Council. I'm Ellen Georgelis. I've been a resident in Mariemont for 30-plus years, and I live at 6754 Fieldhouse Way. Thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening. The topic is the concourse. I'd like to just share with you some observations and offer a request. Observations I don't think are probably new to anybody here, because I've talked to many of you about these things, but just so that we're all on the same page, I'm aware that for quite some time, members of council have been involved in the upgrading, restoration, upkeep of the concourse. I've seen all kinds of very inspiring, wonderful volunteer efforts going on over the past year. And, okay, I'm going to kiss your behind, Mayor, for the work that I know that you have done in your own workshop for that trellis.
I've been working on it.
Thank you very much. So I know the trellis is one big piece of it that obviously needs to be repaired. That's not news to you, and it's in process. I also learned that in that process, the lovely wisteria had to go. I get that. It was invasive. You can't really leave it there and replace trellises and whatnot. I think simultaneously or somewhere along the way also, it was discovered or known that there needs to be some looking at the foundation. There's some cracks and stuff, and I think council has found that some tuck pointing is in order. Also, I saw on the agenda this evening, someone's going to speak about the trees in that area, tree removal or tree updating or whatever you're gonna call that, but we need to relook at the trees that are at the concourse, so that's a piece of the puzzle. I also learned that in the original plans for the concourse, there were some really cool suggestions for what really should be hanging there, not wisteria, but some other options that may be involved. So these are the things I'm aware of, and I'm probably missing a few, because over the past couple of months, I've gotten all kinds of interesting information from all of you and from residents, and I've watched work almost every day. Thank you so much. You've been one of them. It's inspiring. Having said all that, it seems like the project's going on for a long, long time, and I'm pretty sure, but correct me if I'm wrong, there is not an overall plan for the whole project. I've also become aware, this I'm thrilled about, is that at some point in the not too recent past, all of council agreed that the number one priority project for the village is the concourse. So it's not like I have to convince anybody that this is a priority. So that's great. I guess my concern now is with all of this interest and help and attention, we're still not getting very far, and we keep running into things. And to me, it's screaming for the need of a plan, an encompassing plan where we take all of the pieces of the puzzles, the ones that I just mentioned, and probably there are many more, and put them together in a project plan that would identify what they all are, mention the costs if there are any, identify who's heading up each piece of it, and put a realistic timeline around it. Because I think we'd all like to say it's gonna be done tomorrow, but it's not. If we continue with the volunteer efforts, which are wonderful and speak to the beautiful thing about our community, we may never get to see the end of it. I'm thinking it's time, and please don't take that as an insult. I am so grateful for what everybody's doing. But I'm thinking it's time, and this is my request, that council look at hiring a landscape architect to, at the very minimum, put together a comprehensive plan and design, at least some options that council can look at, so that we know from someone who's an expert in most of this. I think all of us have our areas of expertise, but nobody has the big picture, the time, the wherewithal. And if it's a priority, I wish it would be treated as such. So I'm asking that council consider hiring a landscape architect, and with that, let's be real, those are not inexpensive. To get a plan like this, if that's all we do, it costs money. And I would suggest, I'm pretty sure I learned from our fiscal officer, this is budget time. I would request that we put a line item in the budget for this very thing. And I might as well throw my wish list in here. The plan's the bare minimum, but my hope would be if we identify the right person or company or landscape architect, whatever we want to call them, that they could execute the plan. That doesn't mean they do all the work, but if they know that we have this many volunteers and we need this many pieces of trellis and we need this many vines and blah, that they could take all of those pieces together and execute it and project manage it. I don't think anybody on council or in the village has the time or the wherewithal or the expertise to do this. And if this is our priority, which I'm so glad it is, because this used to be the crown jewel. Anymore, it's an embarrassment. And I don't think any of us want it to be that. So my request to you is to please consider, at the very least, putting something in the budget for this year as you're planning to get somebody to do this project, execute it, and let's get it done so that next year I can come and bring champagne and pop the cork, and we can all get our picture taken there by a photographer. Thank you very much for your
All right.
time. and
Thank
consideration.
you for the comments.
Thanks,
You're not taking exception, though, with the trellis work, right, in any way?
No, I'm so involved.
It's really stunning.
No, and yeah.
I know
She
it-
said, Andrew, don't call my husband.
I know it's a little slow, and I appreciate that, but, there've been some issues with getting the cedar, kind of a thing, and getting volunteers, but I am duly, working on it. But the idea about a comprehensive overall plan, I think, is something that we could and probably should discuss.
I think it would just be helpful, and it might move it along and make it happen,
Yeah.
and make your life easier.
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
We shouldn't have to spend every
that would be good, that would be very nice.
I think everybody wants that.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
All right, anyone else?
What are you guys doing here?
Yeah. You guys got questions?
You guys,
Is this a, well, do you want to know what we're doing here?
So do we.
You got a question? Come on.
Oh, okay. I was just,
Yeah,
You need
come on
to
up.
come
Yeah,
up.
don't be
Come on
back.
up.
Don't be shy.
All part of the process.
more about like the process of the meeting.
That's okay.
An issue, but I was wondering how,
Your
like,
name,
especially for
please?
you guys, how one like brings up an issue, and like do you just like come here and say it, or do you have to like do an official process for that?
Well, no, I mean, this part of council, permission to address council, we have that at every council meeting. Council meetings are open, public meetings. So any resident, well, actually, I don't think you don't even have to be a resident, may come in here and address council with whatever is on their mind. Now, normally, we like to limit that to you have about 3 minutes, but, I'm a little bit generous with the time kind of thing, depending on what the topic is, unless they're criticizing my trellis work. But other than that, that's the process. No, I mean, you don't have to write me a letter, you don't have to apply for anything. All you have to do is stand up, get up here to the mic. The only thing you have to do is state your name.
State your name.
I'm Julia Ackerman.
Okay.
And that's part of Ohio Revised Code.
And you,
That we have to allow you to do it. And I think the
Right.
3 minutes is part of Ohio.
well, it
It's
is.
our-
It-
it's our-
it is.
it's our
But
code.
the mayor has a little flexibility.
yes, you do.
Yeah. But no, I mean, does that answer the question?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was.
Okay.
What-
Who's your teacher?
Mr. Wolford.
Oh, Mr. Wolford.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My son had him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep. He's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's a
Well,
really
thank
good
you so
guy.
much.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
All right.
Next question.
All right, no one else?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, well, that was very good. Tell him hi for me. I will. Okay. All right, any question regarding the bills?
The tree work at the concourse, that included $955 that we had approved on the Health and Recreation for the strategic tree removal.
I'm assuming it did.
Yeah, because, so, Joni, we have that under Health and Rec, so we can take that off now.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then, are we done as far as spending for the island? Or do we still have,
The only thing remaining for the island is to buy the actual lights themselves.
the
And
fixtures or
The fixture that will mount on top of the.
Oh,
box
okay.
That you see,
Okay.
the actual light itself. And I got an email, that's, because you reminded me of that, I got an email from Mr. DeCamp today. He has a couple of options, so maybe you and I could go over there
Okay.
tomorrow and take a look. Although what I would like to do, if he has one, I'd like to go over and install it and
Sure.
see what the light looks like. Yeah.
And then, Rod, you said we could put a photo cell at the box, yes?
Yeah, but you need one for every light, or you can put it in a controlled box and probably.
There's two ways of doing it. The fixture itself.
Right.
The individual fixture itself, some of them come with a photo cell. If we don't have that, then there's a way to, you can put a master photo cell at the box, but that gets a little bit tricky, and that, I mean, for normal operation of just the lights, that's good, but that cuts off the power to the
cuts off
receptacle.
okay.
And if we're doing something with additional lighting, and we need to have lighting for, especially over the Christmas holidays, then we may have to have another way of doing that.
Smart timers is how
And there are smart timers.
we've
that-
gone,
yeah,
we've
that's
switched
an
to that over at the chapel, and they're really inexpensive, and they know to change to daylight savings time, they know when to turn the lights on and off based on
Right.
what latitude you're at, all
Yeah.
that stuff, and so it works really well and
Yeah.
and very, very
Well, we're closing in
inexpensive.
on that decision here really, really quick.
All right, then my last question is Envision, are we, because it was 12 months in June, so we're 16 months into this, and we've not paid them a dime.
No, we haven't given it
Yeah,
up.
we discussed that, and even though he said that he was gonna bill us monthly, he said that he would pay us at the end of the project, and we should be finished within a couple weeks.
I mean, I did.
Because
ask-
because that 36.5 we appropriated for 2024, so,
Right,
Yeah.
I'll make sure,
We know,
make
it's-
sure it
we know
gets.
it's getting close.
and then, in his presentation, there was 13 deliverables, 13 separate deliverables. Do we have all of those?
Well,
Well, I mean, some of the things that we did deviated to some extent because he went into doing the grants for the Pease Brothers and worked with that. But he has a detailed list of all the meetings that he spent and all the time that he spent.
Well, my thing is, the deliverables was our economic development plan moving forward. That was why we hired him, and that was what he agreed to do, so.
well, and some of that, Randy, I'm certain is incorporated into that final report.
And, it might be all condensed and
Yeah.
distilled into that.
Yeah.
I've not seen it, so I don't know.
It will be, it's
Yeah.
imminent.
I'm not sure, I mean, I guess we could go back and break it up, but I don't think he's got it broken out, as a line item, a 12 list line item.
Well, I got the sense they were building blocks anyway.
Yeah.
So they might have been, to your point, they might have been building blocks for these final reports. I'm just a little surprised that after 14, 16 months, we've not seen anything.
Well, there's been a little, it's coming soon.
All right.
Because we have had a conversation with him. In fact, the very last time that he was here, I actually said something to him about the billing, because I was beginning to feel a little bit awkward.
Well, I mean, he's worked for 16 months without getting paid.
Without a nickel, yeah, so,
We addressed that with them.
yeah. All right, so any other questions regarding the bills?
So moved.
That's right. Me too.
Calling for a motion and a second, please, to pay the bills. So we have the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Ayer.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, let's pay some bills.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
We did have a late arrival. Did you want to address council while you're here? I don't know if we can go backwards for just a moment or not.
I am here, just to listen and.
Okay.
I would be more than happy to accommodate you for 3 minutes if you wish to say something.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't want to interrupt your all's meeting or anything like that.
Well, we were kind of right at the end of the motion, the permission to address council.
Okay.
You want to get up or?
Yeah, sure.
Please.
Did we finish on the bills though?
We
Yes.
just voted the
Yep,
bills.
yep,
yes.
yep.
Yeah, right.
Well, I just wanted to address.
Name.
State your name, please, first.
My name's Jeff Harmon.
Okay.
So I just wanted to address council because.
Address, please.
I'm sorry?
Address.
Oh, sorry, 3739 Indian View.
3739.
Indian View.
39.
Yeah. So I just wanted to address council because I understood that there's still discussion over the development of Dogwood Park and the trail. And I just wanted to voice my support for the development of that trail. I know that there's some opposition, and I figured a voice in the favor of it would be worthwhile having here. I'm, young father. My wife and I have 2 young kids.
Sure.
We play soccer there all the time, and I think it's really worthwhile what the plan is for that park and the trail. I think it would be a nice thing to have, and a nice amenity that would be more useful for people who may have less access to that area than they would have now.
Sure.
So,
Sure. I'm glad you came in. I'm glad you mentioned that. We probably, though, as was discussed 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
we will be holding sort of a final public meeting, to talk about all the, remaining plans and so on and so forth. I would encourage you to please come to that meeting.
okay,
If you
absolutely.
wish to, express this sentiment, you should show up at that, please.
Okay,
Okay?
yeah, of course.
Yeah. But I mean, this was great. You did this fine tonight.
Okay, thank
Can
you.
subscribe to the village emails?
I do.
Okay, so then you'll get notice that this meeting is happening.
Okay, great. Okay, I apologize for
Oh,
interrupting.
no,
you're
perfectly
fine.
fine, perfectly fine. Yeah. You see, girls, you gotta have flexibility when you run these things. You never know what's gonna happen. All right, where are we here to the committee reports, I think?
What are we doing with the rules now?
Yeah.
It's tabled, so if it's not going to be read, we can just leave it tabled and move on.
Do we wish to leave Susan's report tabled, or take it off the table and you can sign it, and then we move along with the drafting the legislation to sort of complete the work? Did you have a correspondence with her today?
I texted Susan early today and copied Marcy and Rod, and I know she's busy up in DC. I didn't get a reply from her. Personally, and I haven't talked to Marcy about it, I'd be comfortable, the 2 of us taking it off the table while Rod is here tonight to address just, I think, one question that was a hang-up last time. Take it off the table, get that one item cleaned up, sign the report, and
Move forward with it.
move forward.
Yeah, because I know this has been kind of hanging out here.
I'm looking at Susan's non-reply as she didn't say
I'm
no.
gonna assume Susan
She didn't
would be
say no.
delighted if we would take
Exact,
care of
I
this.
think so too.
Move this along.
Second.
I think so too.
All right, then what we're gonna need is, we're gonna need a motion, a second, to take it off the table.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Mr. Ayer?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Vanstone? Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, so now I suggest that we read the report and have a discussion, and then you can clear up any questions, and we'll vote to pass the report. Does that sound?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. Now, Rod and I had a discussion about this today, and maybe I was the one that put the kibosh on it last week, because this is just saying that, hey, we need some changes to our ordinances relative to these particular issues. Rod has gone ahead and proposed drafts that he's forwarded to me of what those changes should actually be. So I think if we go ahead and approve the report today, we'll get the draft prepared, and then when it comes time to actually change the ordinance, you can vote on that, because you'll have it beforehand to evaluate and make sure it's what we want. And I think, Matt, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I think the only real question was the 50-foot wide and the limit for the accessory structures, correct?
There was that, and I didn't bring a copy
Well,
of the
some of
report.
that-
Let's read
RV?
the report and then.
Yeah,
There's a
let's-
question about the
let's-
rear
let's-
yards.
Yes.
Yeah, but let's read the report,
All
and
right.
then we'll have this
All right.
discussion.
Do I need to read the reports? And
Please, if you don't mind.
Oh, I just need a copy of it.
I don't have
I didn't
a copy.
memorize it yet.
Wait a minute, I got it.
He's got it, I gave it to
You
him.
got it?
Here,
Okay.
got
We
it?
got it, we got it.
Do I have to sign?
Rules and Law Committee had a meeting on September 3rd. In attendance, Mayor Bill Brown, Chief Hines, committee members Matt Ayer, Marcy Lewis, Susan Brown Knight, Building Administrator Rod Holloway, residents Matt Painter, and Doug Zemke. The Rules and Law Committee met and discussed village parking and accessory structures. Below are the outcomes of the conversation. Parking, rear access pad. We recommend that the village to further refine rear access pad standards, as we want to ensure that rear access pads are designed to allow a 10-foot passage abutting the road. RV parking. Relax the rear lot standard to include the entire rear yard. Trailers. We recommend we update the ordinance to clarify that vehicles with attached trailers cannot be left on the street unattended for longer than 2 hours. Trailers left unattached and trailers attached should not be left overnight on the street. This situation will require permitting, or would require permitting. Additionally, we recommend that we update the code to require unattached trailers to be parked in the rear yard. Front parking pads. We recommend enforcing our ordinance that states no front parking pads. The village will be trending away from front parking pads with street projects that include installing curbs. We encourage residents to restore the right-of-way abutting their property if this area is no longer in use. Driveways. We recommend that driveway standards should remain unchanged. Accessory structures. We must strengthen the code to ensure accessory structures are not habitable spaces. Additionally, we recommend that we define a minimum separation between habitable spaces. We recommend 10 feet separation between the principal residence and the detached structure. Garage height, we recommend we leave the 15-foot for one-car garage and allow up to 18 feet for 2 or 3-car garages. This change, heights. This change is driven by the pitch of the roof and aesthetics. Further, we recommend defining garages as only one-story structures that are permitted to have an attic for storage. We recommend we limit the size of the accessory structures. Accessory structures will either maintain the 30% of rear yard or be limited to up to 560 square foot lots up to 50 feet wide. That's 50 feet wide. That's the lot width. That's not the structure width. We recommend that accessory structures must be in the rear yard. For lots bigger than 50 feet wide, cap the accessory structure at 864 square feet. Currently, people can put an accessory structure within 3 feet of their property line. However, any structure above 15 feet, it's recommended be 6 feet from the property line, and the structures max out at 18 feet tall. Proposed regulation: when the accessory structure exceeds 200 square feet, the Architectural Review Board must approve the design. We would need to update the ARB's code. Street-to-street lot, we recommend updating the accessory structure code for street-to-street and corner lots. Standards to be recommended by the zoning officer. Submitted Susan, Marcy, and Matt.
Do we have a signed report?
Well, they can sign it
I
after.
have a question, Matt. I think my report says 576 square feet, and I think
Yes.
you read 560 square feet. So which is it?
576.
Okay, I just wanted
I
to,
don't know how I read that.
okay. I just want to make sure that we had the right
Yeah,
number in there.
He just misread it, that's all.
Okay,
I
okay,
think we
okay,
all said
that's
it.
okay, that's, I just want to make sure.
I'll
See,
let
I was
Matt-
listening, Matt.
Susan did a really nice job compressing this, but then when you do compress it, boy, it's dense. There's a lot in there. But Rod, you've looked at this. Are there some corrections you think that need to be made to this report? Things that are,
No, I think,
Can you come up? Can you come up? Because they won't be able to hear you.
yeah, I think the only thing I picked up in just when you read it was there's a comment about separation of habitable spaces. It's really the separation of the habitable space from the accessory structure. It reads a little bit differently than that. But other than that, I think everything else was fine.
Well, is there a minimum distance required?
There currently is not in our code, no.
So an accessory structure can be built within
Inches.
inches of
Of the primary structure. And we actually had a situation with the plans that I reviewed that highlighted that this was a concern. So somebody had a very large home in the center of town, and they were trying to get it within 3 feet, the accessory structure to the primary residence.
So then they had literally no backyard because the 30% of the required backyard, how did that not come into play?
Because they had a very wide yard.
Yard.
And that's
Oh,
also
and-
something that's not capped today.
Yeah.
So in theory, if you've got 200-foot frontage, you could have a very, very large house. And in fact, if you pull the garage up away from the back boundary line, you kind of bypass the required yard, so there's a couple loopholes in there. And those
And you can
all-
build it over, you can come over that 30-foot line for that required backyard thing.
Yeah.
To get around the square footage.
It's right, that people pull it forward and
Yeah.
then can make it even larger. So the numbers, that 576 and whatever, the 8, whatever, that's a 2-car garage to 24 by 24 is pretty generous. That's the 576. And then if you multiply that by another 1.5, you get to the 3-car garage, or that 8, whatever the number is.
864, right. Rod, here's the sentence. Additionally, we recommend that we define a minimum separation between habitable spaces. I
Yeah, it should
believe
be
what you're
four-
saying, it should say a minimum separation between
The habitable space and the accessory structure.
between the habitable space and the accessory structure.
Because the way it reads, it's, the accessory
Correct.
structure is habitable, which is not what we're trying to do.
Correct.
here. And we had a situation several years ago on Fieldhouse that we wanted to clean up the habitable space as well. So all these things that are in the accessory structure are real-life things that have come up that people have sought variances for, that we're trying to clarify and update in the code.
So is that going to be
So we're
amendment to the minimum?
we're gonna amend the report then? Is that what we're doing here?
I have one other question.
Go ahead.
The one on, you can only park a vehicle with it attached for 2 hours. When we have, construction crews with big stuff, like we have on our street right now, Bill, often, they're gonna be there for the working day. I don't think you wanna rule against that, do you?
Right, so we're trying to, there's words in the code that refer to unattended, and we're trying to clarify what unattended means.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that if somebody's having work, or somebody comes with lawnmowers and all that kind of thing.
Yeah,
that-
unattended, if they're able to move their vehicle, that may be sufficient, but that's something we're trying to address.
Okay, that's fine. No further amendment. I just want to understand.
Rod, as you know too, I've had calls from one particular homeowner in the village. Apparently his neighbor has a truck with a trailer attached to it with vehicles of some sort in the trailer.
Yep.
It's always attached in the driveway all the time, 24/7, 365. Thing never moves. Now, this change in the code's not affect that. That guy can still do that.
Well, if it's a,
Because it doesn't talk about attached trailers in a driveway.
it will.
Okay.
Oh, is that an amendment then that we're gonna be making?
No, no,
to
no,
this
no,
report?
no,
No,
no.
I think that's
Here-
one
Here's
of the
what,
issues.
They may amend it in the legislation.
here's what I was trying to say before in a very inarticulate manner. The idea is that you want to change our code relative to these specific issues. I think everyone is in agreement with the general concept of that. When Rod and I get together to kind of fine tune it a little bit, I will prepare the actual resolution. We will share it to you, with you before council meeting and say, hey, here's what might be a little bit different from the committee report. Let us know now if it's acceptable or not acceptable. Then we can change it by the time we actually get to council meeting to vote on the resolution.
Yeah, That's,
Does that make sense?
that's what I thought. This is a broad brush. You guys craft and get
Right.
into the details and.
He's
Yeah,
my
the intent is
wordsmith.
not to have people park trailers, either attached or unattached to vehicles.
I guess, I
for
mean,
long period of times in the driveway.
you could put a dark garbage dump next to my house and I wouldn't care. I'm that kind of guy.
Some would. So are we amending this?
So I
You're gonna
move
need
that we
to-
accept the amended report.
Well,
Amended the way Matt just wrote in.
Amended the way, can you read the amendment just real quick?
Just one sentence.
The amendment is to one sentence under accessory structures, which that sentence will now read. Additionally, we recommend that we define a minimum separation between the habitable space and the accessory structure, period.
We're all good. Okay, so a motion and a second to accept.
Randy
the-
moved,
I'll second it.
Randy moved, Bob second, okay, to
Okay,
amend.
we good. Mr. Air,
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye,
All right, then a motion and a second to accept the amended,
so moved.
Second.
Mr. Air,
Aye.
Dr. Lewis,
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone,
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right,
Okay, for
Then I'm gonna-
clarification,
I'm
can
gonna
those
pass
come
it.
off of the agenda since everything else will be handled through legislation?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay,
All right, Bob, I think you're up.
thank you.
Yep. This is about the Public Works and Service Committee. The Public Works and Service Committee met on October 22nd at 7:02 PM. In attendance were Committee Chairperson Bob Van Stone, Committee members Randy York and Rob Bartlett, and Mayor Bill Brown. The sole agenda item was the trash bid. Rumpke was the only supplier that responded to the village's request for bids. Fiscal Officer Kelly Rankin opened the bid last week, and Rumpke provided two options to the village. Both were for bid for 2025, and options to extend the bid for 2026 and 2027. The structure was selected by the village to permit a cooperative bid with the Center for Local Government starting in 2026. The costs are shown at the end of the report, and I'm not going to go through the table, but unless there are questions. The committee preferred the alternate bid right column due to both the lower cost for 2025 and the total cost for the 3-year period. The initial bid increases the cost for the later years by 3%, while the alternate bid increases those costs by 4% annually. There's no reported difference in the service between the two bids. The committee tabled the issue to more fully understand the contract pending a legal review and looking at the electronic copy of the bid, which will be supplied by Rumpke. The meeting was adjourned at 5:35 PM. Bob Van Stone, Randy York, and Rob Bartlett.
All right, you've heard the report. Is everybody clear with what we're doing here? It seems to be this,
What really happened, there was disbelief that the alternate bid, which was lower in initial cost and lower in total cost, didn't have some nuance in there about a change in the service. So we just wanted to get that clarified. So we wanted all the committee members to see the bid, the full bid, which at that point, Kelly only had a paper copy of it, and also ask Ed to review it. And I understand that's all happened, and I haven't seen Ed's reply yet, but I'll,
Well, I've seen Ed's reply, I'm sorry, and I talked to Dean at Rumpke, and we are in agreement as to the changes, which aren't really significant, it's just verbiage.
Everything they wanted
And
was
he's
pretty
going-
reasonable, I thought.
Yeah,
There was one thing that it might have been.
about
just in some language.
canceling the contract.
Right, right.
So I talked to Dean at Rumpke, and he has seen your email, and he's going to make those changes and send us a revised copy.
okay, when we get that revised copy, we'll then have a quick committee meeting and say all's well. Maybe. Just,
Well, I mean, there aren't significant changes that are against us. I mean, all the changes are basically legal verbiage that is reasonable.
Yeah, I don't think you need to bring it back to the committee.
Yeah,
again.
'cause I think the purpose of this was to approve it pending
Yeah,
a review by
Yeah.
our solicitor.
and I'm
Which is
approving
happening.
it, right.
Yeah. And just to let you guys know, no one else bid on this because of our lanes and things like that. And we had a 3-year bid, and I think we thought it would be higher than it is for next year.
So is the next thing then to submit legislation at,
Yeah.
I think what's in,
Well,
so you and
recept-
Dean are not done yet, or you're done?
He is supposed to send a official revised
Yep.
copy with a change in the there were exceptions, because of some language, and that's what Ed reviewed. And I, again, have spoken with Dean at Rumpke. He agrees with it, and he's going to send us a revised contract with those few changes. But there is, again, no monetary changes, no
No.
service changes.
Nothing substantive right now, okay.
but
The
the next
committee
step?
didn't pass it pending. We said we were gonna have another meeting, and I just
Oh,
hate
that's right,
to,
we did say we tabled it. See, okay, that's right. That's my bad. I thought.
well,
we
I just wanna, I don't wanna be, accused that we wrote
Right.
over something. We'll,
So we really didn't even need this, because we're not taking any action.
Right, that's exactly.
well,
Okay.
but I think it's useful for transparency, to inform council what's going on there.
Okay. So you guys will meet again, and then we'll have another, and after that, then we'll have legislation. Gotcha, okay.
Unless we could revise the report and make it conditional. Amend the report.
If we've
Or is that too
submitted it,
late?
I doubt to think we can amend it after,
We just
No,
amended
we
one.
can, we can
a minute
amend it.
ago.
We
You
can-
before
can
it
amend
was
the
submitted.
report.
What are we waiting on?
No, I just wanted a review by our solicitor. I would, and you guys know, I want our outs. I want to know what
Yeah,
our outs
absolutely,
are. I want
right.
to know, is this service the same as it was?
Sure.
Because I will tell you, we were all a little suspicious
About that
because we
price
thought it
difference.
would be higher than it is.
Yeah.
And if Ed is comfortable with the language of it, you're close to being comfortable. My vote, I'm comfortable with us moving forward with that contract.
Well, I am too, but that, we're discussing that here tonight. We did not have Ed's review at the time of the meeting. And so this report reflects what happened at the meeting. And I put it together, Randy, not because I was asking council to take action, but I want to inform them what was going on. So when we come back, we don't have to go through the whole rigmarole again.
Okay, so if we pass this report as it is, then the next step would be to prepare the legislation to sign the contract. Is that?
I mean,
what
if
am
you
I
guys want to review the revised contract, as soon as I get it, I'll share it. That's totally up to committee how you want to handle that.
So then we're not gonna pass this tonight.
No, we never said, this was
This is more of
strictly,
a verbal report.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
This is
be,
a
I'm just
verbal-
trying to.
There's no
hear what-
recommendation on the report.
there's no recommendation for council on moving ahead.
You're gonna meet again and submit another report, and then we will do legislation. Yes.
So,
Moving on.
could we amend this to make a recommendation?
I would defer to our solicitor if we could amend it.
I'm just trying to save an interim step, but if you, I can look-
I think if we amend it to say the language that the
Randy-
committee approves the acceptance of the contract pending the review of our solicitor.
But when we had the meeting, we did not have that review. So to amend a report on information that happened after the meeting, I'm not sure is the right thing to do.
What, I don't understand what happened after the meeting.
It's review.
But I'm saying, what I'm saying here is we accept it pending his review.
That's not what we voted on at the meeting.
Okay.
All right, let's just wait till we get the revised contract, have a quick.
Look at it, make sure Ed looks at it again, and heads are all shaking in the same direction.
I was just trying to save a step, but we can easily do it that way, there's no.
I would prefer not to have another committee meeting as well, but.
What's your ruling on this?
My ruling is, I don't think we need to make it all that difficult. I've reviewed the contract, I find it to be acceptable for the village of Mariemont. So if you want to amend the report, just we tabled it pending review by our solicitor, you say, we approved it. Or if you want to come back, I don't care. Bill, it's up to you, you're the boss.
Well, like I said, I was just trying to save us a step in here, and we're all sitting here tonight, and if it's just basically a simple matter of making an amendment to approve the contract, which you have reviewed.
Yeah, I got it this morning, I reviewed it as soon as I got it, I sent an email to Kelly saying, I think this is good, this is good, this is good, this probably should be changed, and I can't remember what I said now, Kelly. but you know.
You said full speed ahead, Ed.
Pretty much so.
That's what you said.
So what would the amendment then have to say to change this?
I just take out the last sentence,
I mean,
My,
are you good with that?
my only problem is that didn't happen at the meeting.
I know it didn't, but I know.
But we can amend it right here.
Well, then,
We're amending it now.
what I want to say, though, did not happen at the meeting. I was just going to eliminate that last sentence, saying there's no reported difference in service between the two bids. Therefore, the committee approved the bid. They didn't really do that,
Right.
but that's the way I'd write it up.
We'll write it there. Okay, do you have that, Johnny?
No difference between the two services?
That is correct. But is there a recommendation on which one to go with? Bid 1 or bid 2?
Earlier in the report, it says the committee prefers the alternate bid.
Okay, perfect.
Given the amount of time that we're spending on it now, we could just have had the second
Take
meeting.
my own trash out.
But I'm just trying to move it along. Okay, we're gonna have it here, and we'll have a quick vote on this.
How's that sound? I'll take it out.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
We're basically gonna scratch the committee tabled, the issue to more fully understand the contract pending legal review. We're scratching that, and we're simply adding, therefore, the committee recommends approval of the bid.
Alternate, yeah,
Are we good?
Of alternate bid?
yes.
I would say, after having been reviewed by our solicitor. Yeah, I would
Okay.
like to add that language.
Okay. We can sit that
And
right on the end.
approve the alternate bid. So it's,
Yeah. Approve the alternate bid.
for those in the audience that may not, the total cost of the alternate bid for 3 garbage collection, trash, recycling is $1.074 million. So this is a not.
For 3 years.
For 3 years.
That's $25,000, close to $25,000 cheaper than the other bid.
All right, a motion and a second to accept the amended,
May we read?
No.
May we read the amendment, please?
again?
Nobody's accepted the amendment.
I
so we
wrote
need
it
to-
something else, Bill.
Okay. Well, you got the part that was scratched. You want me to read that? The committee tabled the issue to more fully understand the contract pending legal review. We're scratching that.
All right.
And we're adding, therefore, the committee recommends approval of the bid after confirming with solicitor as to its accuracy.
Acceptability.
Or accept, well, you got, You got quite a
None
scrap.
of us know how to.
Acceptability, as to its acceptability.
I move
Okay.
we accept the amendment.
Did you want something, do you want that?
And I am perfectly comfortable, and I think everybody is trying to do the same thing, and I'm comfortable with it as long as Bob is.
Second.
So,
Okay, so Mr. Air,
Yeah. I move that.
we're voting on the amendment to amend. Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
Okay, Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, a motion and a second to accept the amended committee report.
So moved.
Mr. Second. Mr. Air?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right. Boy, that was painful.
Moving along.
Garbage.
Yeah, just to collect the garbage. That's what we're talking about here. Well, it costs a lot of money to pick up the garbage in this community. All right, under miscellaneous, I'll be saying this through the run on this. Leaf season, this is picking up the leaves. That will run through December, all of December 2024. And as I said before, just a gentle reminder, please don't rake the leaves into the street. Just rake them right up to the curb, but not into the street.
And why is that?
Because Kelly Rankin doesn't like it that way.
That's all you
Because-
need to know.
Because it creates a safety hazard if they're raked into the street.
What was the cutoff date? December 8th?
No,
It's the end of
month of
December.
December.
12/31.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
12/31, yeah. All right, Beggars Night will be this coming Thursday, October the 31st, and that will run from 6 until 8 o'clock. And we all need to keep our fingers crossed. I know rain is in the forecast. Let's hope that it passes by. The December council meeting will be held Monday, December the 16th, beginning immediately after the capital improvement meeting, which starts at 5:30. All right, we all good on that? All right, resolutions.
okay. This is the third reading to reappoint Steve Pipkin and Marianne Prue as a non-voting member of the Tree Advisory Board for the calendar year 2025.
What, are we gonna lump some of these together?
The third.
I just did.
Oh, you did,
The non-voting members.
okay. All right, motion and second to.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Mr. Air.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
Okay. This is the third reading to reappoint Larry Gray as a voting member of the Tree Advisory Board for the calendar year 2025.
Okay, that's the only one we can lump?
And Mary
Well-
Beth.
What about Mary Beth?
No,
No, his is for 1 year and the other two are for 2
Oh,
years.
okay.
Okay, all right, a motion and a second then?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Air.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
I already said aye.
Aye.
Wait until your name is called, please.
Yeah.
Mr. Van
That's
Stone.
rules.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right,
Okay. To reappoint Mary Beth York and Margaret Jevick as a voting member of the Tree Advisory Board for the calendar years 2025 and 2026.
all right, a motion and a second to approve.
So
So,
moved.
second.
Mr. Air.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
See, I believe this is a first reading. Scott Remmer, I put third, but this is a first reading
Okay.
to appoint Scott Remmer as a non-voting member of the Tree Advisory Board for the calendar year 2025. This also is a first reading to appoint Marcia Linner as a non-voting member of the Tree Advisory Board
Okay,
for
if
the
those
calendar year.
if those are first readings, we'll have the second readings next council.
Yes, so I'll lump them next time.
Okay.
To reappoint Scott Hamlin as a member of the Audit Committee for calendar years 2025 and 2026. That's a third reading.
All right, third reading, a motion and a second to pass.
So moved.
Mr. Air.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
Okay. This is a third reading to reappoint Kevin Taylor as a member of the Mariemont Racquet Club for the calendar year 2025.
Okay. Motion and a second to pass.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Mr. Air.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, this is a first reading to appoint Kim Beach as a member of the Mariemont Racquet Club for the calendar year 2025.
All right, we'll have the second reading next time. It looks like we have just one
Tony, can you say Mariemont Racket Club Board?
Board.
Thank you.
Thank you, okay.
board.
Is that B-O-R-E-D or B-O-A?
Okay.
All right, one ordinance, please.
This is the first reading to supplement ordinance number 01524, annual appropriation ordinance, and to declare emergency.
All right, we've had the first reading. I need a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for the second and third reading.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ayers?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
May we have the second reading, please?
To supplement ordinance number 01524, annual appropriation ordinance, and to declare emergency.
All right, this is discussion. Any discussion about this? We all know what this is?
No,
Kelly,
that's-
you want to make a comment?
Sure, the $20,000 is an additional appropriation for the police salaries and uniforms and whatnot, and the other one for $7,000 is supplement appropriation for the building department. Those are going a little over budget, so we need to appropriate additional funds till the end of the year.
All right, all right.
Rod should be volunteering, we should stop paying him.
I agree.
Is he still there?
No, no, unfortunately, he didn't hear the
Dang it,
remark.
I withdraw my comment.
All right, any additional questions? Are we all good? All right, may we have the third reading, please?
To supplement ordinance number 01524, annual appropriation ordinance, and to declare emergency.
All right, a motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ayers?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right. I need a motion and a second to evoke the emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ayers?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, ordinance is adopted. I hesitate to
Go.
ask, but we're adjourned.
Good.
Don't ask, just tell.
He didn't ask.
Being you, you
Oh,
don't.
hey,
you don't-
Bill, one more thing.
You're the boss.